All right, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Forward Thinking Founders. We talk to founders about their companies, their visions for the future, and how the two collide. Today, I'm very excited to be talking to Cory McKane, who's the founder of WeStrive. Welcome to the show. How's it going?
It's going great, man. Thanks for having me. It's gonna be a fun episode.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you on. I always like interviewing people that I feel like I see around in the Twitter sphere, and I'm like, boom, and now we're talking. It's just the beauty of the internet. For people that
Exactly.
haven't heard of WeStrive, what are you working on? What is WeStrive?
Absolutely. So it's been a long journey, but at this point, we are a SaaS or operating system for the personal training industry, and we're currently building the first operating system and marketplace for health and wellness professionals. So basically, right now we're for personal trainers, and then throughout the year, we're going to be expanding into nutrition, physical therapy, health coaching, life coaching, etc. So there we are.
So walk me through, if in another world, I was one of those kind of personas,
Mhm.
and I did that for a living. Like, walk me through a little bit of like what someone's experience would be by using WeStrive. If someone heard about it for the first time on this podcast, what can they do with it? What can they expect if they tried it out?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll touch on like what we are now, and then I'll touch on like what we're about to become. So basically, if I'm a personal trainer and I want to train online or remotely, especially during COVID, I'm probably going to be making a PDF document or an Excel document and just figuring out the online space. I'm brand new to it. I'm sending this to my client. My client's zooming in and out at the gym. There's no videos attached. There's no real way to really record your progress. There's no body weight photo. Yeah, no body weight tracking, no progress photos, nothing like that. So you switch over to WeStrive and we handle all of that for you. So we give your client a mobile app that they can track all of their workouts in. You're going to have photos and videos attached. They can track their progress. They swipe through each exercise. It's like a beautiful interface. And then on top of that, they're going to have the ability to upload progress photos, track their entire like body weight journey, their personal records, and all that. And then the back end as a trainer, you have all those stats. You can handle billing. We give you a landing page, and basically you can run your entire business through it. Fast forward to Q4 of this year. Basically, if I'm a personal trainer or a physical therapist, I'll be able to not only run my entire business through WeStrive, but I'm also going to be able to co-work with other professionals. So me as a physical therapist and a nutritionist can co-work on a client instead of just like, hey, my client wants a nutritionist, and then like texting them the client information. I can actually just go, boom, we both have the client's profile right there. We start working on the client journey together. So it's kind of a holistic approach to health and wellness, basically.
Walk me through a little bit about the origin story here.
Mhm.
Why'd you decide to start it? And what's the origin story?
Yeah, so I'll try and keep this brief. I know we're doing like a 20-minute episode, and I could talk for 20 minutes just on this. So essentially, this actually is a two-part story. So I started off 6 years ago with an idea in college to be like, oh, we should make this fitness app. Originally, it was going to be a marketplace for fitness programs. Basically, we had all these trainers that had all these cool programs, and then all these users that had all these needs for plans. They were going on Google to try and find a program, including myself. I was doing the same thing. So I spent about 4 years, like I was in a small town. I brought on the wrong co-founders. I hired the wrong development team, typical startup story. Finally launched this app after about 3.5 to 4 years. And it was beautiful. We had 250 personal trainers on there. We had 500 full length programs. Basically, we were the most in-depth fitness program platform in the app store. But what happened was we had a couple grand in sales, which is like not terrible, whatever. But essentially, what I realized is that we either needed like $1 billion to market this thing to compete with the Nikes, the Gymsharks, the Fit Plans of the world, or we needed to pivot. And so along that journey, I've been speaking with so many personal trainers that were telling me, hey, I would love a way better way to run my business. And so we decided to build that platform, which is the SaaS platform we have today. So what I realized ultimately was that we were kind of targeting a want, which was I can sell a program here and there. That's cool. And then we realized that we really needed to target the need. And where the physical therapy update with nutritionists and all that stuff came about was last year we relaunched, and I did about 500 customer interviews with these trainers. And I realized that not only do a lot of them work with physical therapists, but a lot of them are physical therapists, and a lot of them are nutritionists, and all these other fields don't have a platform. So we did a lot of interviews with them and realized that, hey, we can build a platform for everyone where they can all collaborate. So that's kind of the sum down story, I guess.
And through that story, and to be honest, it's like I think a lot more common than people think. Like the journey of a founder, figuring it out, pivoting. This is like how it all
Mhm.
starts almost every time, to be honest.
Yeah.
What have been some things that you've learned as you've been on the journey? It could be about,
Yeah.
founding the company building, co-founders, how to not pick back, just like what have you learned to kind of over the years so far?
That's a lot. So but it's crazy to look back 6 years ago. I was like living in a small town, getting my accounting degree, and knew nothing about startups. I watched Shark Tank. That's pretty much all I knew, and I think that's like a gateway into the startup world. So, I mean, a billion things. I'm a completely different person now than I was then. I know people all over the world. My dev team's in Ukraine. I've got people that work with me in like the Philippines and in like Europe and all that stuff. So it's just crazy what I've learned. I think the number one thing that I've actually learned is patience, and the fact that like no matter what you do, if like you can't control what's going to happen, and just being able to like look at, and not only patience, but being able to look at a problem that's presented to you and just kind of move on and just go, okay, like for example, we that original app launch, a big problem with the app launch, the reason we only did a few grand in sales is because I had this big launch party in Santa Monica for that original app. We had about 120 people on a rooftop. I had like unlimited alcohol for everyone. It was a great time. And the day of the launch party, Apple pulled our app from the App Store. Even though we had been approved 3 times in a row, they basically said the guy that approved it 3 times was wrong. Sorry about that, and just pulled the app. So we had to not only ruin the launch party because no one had an app to download, but we also had to spend 2 or 3 weeks of our entire marketing budget to relaunch the part of our platform. And when I got the news of the morning of, I was super disappointed. And everyone in the room with me was just like, oh my God, I would be crying and devastated if I had that news after all the work he's put in. And I just like sat there for about an hour. And I was like really pissed off. And then I kind of just walked out of my room and I was like, all right, let's do this launch party. And they were just like, how are you like so calm and so normal? And I was just like, what are we going to do about it? Like, it happened. You know what I mean? And years before, I would have been like depressed all day. But now you kind of get to that mindset where it's like, this happened. You can't do anything about it. It's in the past. Find a way to make it better. So we had a great night. But just that's been like the number one thing, is just learning how to move on quickly and, adapt basically.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, because I think that when a lot of founders get into entrepreneurship, rightfully so, they're like a little too optimistic. Like they
100%.
probably are a little too like, this is good. These are good qualities, but it is true. Like they're maybe too confident. They think they're better than they are, etc. And like what happens is that like the market just slaps them around for a little bit, and then you kind of see who's really in it by like, obviously there's a lot of luck involved and there's privilege and things like this, but like in general, like even if you have to get a job, take a few years, you kind of like you're gonna figure it out one way or another if you really are driven by a mission or problem. And like I just love to see, this is gonna sound horrible, but I love to see like first time founders and kind of almost like overconfident founders like get a dose of like what it's like being a founder, because it's not all
Exactly. Yeah.
for at least some types of people. For some people I think it's straight up to the top and great for them, but I think for
Yeah.
most there's this period of this trough of sorrow
Yeah.
that I think
Yeah.
is important, that founders understand that this exists, right?
Yeah, no, it was funny. I was on a date like a week or two ago with this girl, and she's a founder, but she's only been a founder for like 4 months, and I've been a founder for 6 years, and she was trying to be like, oh, I know what you mean, and I was like, no, you don't. You have no idea. Like you are just getting started. Like you just wait. Like it's one thing to be like, and I was the same way when I was like 4 months in. I'm like, yeah, trust me, the hustle, and it's like, no, like there's so much more you're gonna go through over the years. But I honestly think it's the same with like, I think everyone should have to work fast food. I think you should have to work a fast food job or like retail or something like that. Just deal with that's like a part of your journey you should have to go on. And I think every founder should have to have that shitty couple years where they're like figuring things out, pivoting. Like, don't get me wrong, I would have loved to have just gotten like $1 million check from like a rich uncle or something like that when I first started. That'd been great, but I wouldn't be even close to where I am today. That first app probably would have sucked, and it wouldn't have built me into the CEO that I am now. So I think that stuff's just important.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. If you were to look out into the future for WeStrive, what do you kind of see then for the company? I guess in other words, what's the big vision for WeStrive, and what direction are you rowing in every day?
Yeah, absolutely. So it kind of ties into what we're going to be building or what we are building and launching in Q4 of this year. So essentially by this time next year, we will be the platform for health and wellness. So if you're looking for a physical therapist, a chiropractor, a personal trainer, whether online or in person, you're going to go to WeStrive. And then if you're one of those professionals, you're going to go to WeStrive to run your business and find new clients. So essentially creating the epicenter for all health and wellness. And then the little branches that go off that. So like blog articles to help grow your business. We're going to have like business development for our professionals. We're going to have education. So basically everything that we can do to help our professionals grow their business and expand. And then on the other side, being able to help all of these exercisers and clients just live a healthier life and work with these professionals easily through WeStrive.
And then to make that happen, you'll need some help. It takes a village to make a startup work. So my question for you is, how can the forward-thinking founders community help you? Are you hiring, looking for capital, customers? How can we assist?
Yeah, I mean, looking for capital, we're raising a 500K pre-seed on a safe, 3 million valuation, 20% discount. So we have about 25K committed, about 250K soft committed right now. So definitely raising. Hiring, not right now, but we definitely will be in the next couple of months once we raise that round. And then basically any health and wellness professionals we're looking to connect with. So right now, if you're a personal trainer, you can run your whole business through WeStrive. You're going to love it. It's the best platform out there by far. But on top of that, if you are a physical therapist, nutritionist, strength coach, etc., we'd love to talk to you. We want to know more about you and your business so that when we build out this platform, we can have actual feedback and actual testimonials and interviews that kind of helped build the platform ahead of time.
And if someone wants to give it a shot, learn more, invest, anything like that, how can they learn more about what you're doing? Do you have a website? Do you have social media, email address? How can someone reach out?
That'd be funny if I didn't have a website. I was like, oh crap, we don't have that. No, yeah. So definitely WeStriveApp.com. You can reach out to us, or at WeStriveApp on the Instagram. And then I'm at Cory.mf on Instagram. And I believe I'm Cory Asian on Twitter. It could be Cory Nation. Sorry, Cory.mf was taken on, like, one of the two is taken on either platform. So I had to have different Cory McKane, actually. So Cory and then MCKANE on Twitter. There we go.
Cool.
Boom.
All right, there it is. And if you're listening to this podcast and you're not on Twitter yet, after I've mentioned it, like in like 30 episodes, just stop listening. Like there's no hope for you. Cool. Well, I appreciate you coming on the podcast, and best of luck building out WeStrive.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Everyone have a good day.